All right, welcome back to another game preview and yet another one this season from a hotel room. This time I'm in producer Vic's hotel room in Nashville, not even my own hotel room. We'll figure out how we're going to go about today's breakdown. We'll get into the line combinations. We'll give out our best bet here, talk about the defensive pairings, power play, the fact that basically nothing here has changed, and why I'm in producer Vic's room. We'll try to break it all down. It'll look a little bit different, obviously, here today. It's good as we got in late. There was some issues with the plane. So setup, it's a little bit minimalistic. But today's game preview, as always, is a presentation of Bet365. Let's start with the lineups that we've got projected over at Daily Faceoff. Now, we did see a little bit of a change at the end of the game last night. So what we end up with here today and what is projected and what we have from the first period into the second period may entirely change. That's basically what Craig Berube has done all season. He's mixed things up. He's moved guys around. So there would be no real shock there if that ends up being the case. But here's what we got for tonight as of right now. Starting with the first line, you got Matthew Knies, Austin Matthews, and Mitch Marner. See no real reason why you'd end up changing that anyways. They played really well together last night against Colorado. Austin Matthews kind of looks like he's maybe back now. He looks like Austin Matthews of old. So, I mean, keeping him with Knies, Marner played pretty well there. I just don't see why you would change this up. That seems like a line you'd want to keep together. Now, the line that we did see move around would be the second line. Nylander, Tavares, and Holmberg projected to go here together tonight. Pontus Holmberg was moved from the second line to the fourth line, and it was Calle Jarnkrok ended up jumping up to the second line there. Part of that was because the fourth line was just absolutely getting their teeth kicked in. Pontus Holmberg has looked really good as of late, the Pontiac, as the boys have been calling him. So moving him down to the fourth line, kind of trying to stabilize some stuff and give them an energy guy who's been playing pretty well, kind of made sense there. Calle Jarnkrok can obviously pretty easily fit in your top six alongside JT and Nylander. Right now on Daily Faceoff, projected to have Pontus Holmberg back on the second line. I wouldn't be surprised if things move around, but we do have some changes when we get to the fourth line, so we'll dig into all of that in a second. Down to our third line here. Bobby McMahon, Max Domi, Nick Robertson remain together. That third line's been clicking since Robertson returned from the press box. Basically, anytime you put this guy up there and then he comes back, he looks good again, gets on the board, finds ways to contribute to the game. We'll see how long this lasts because we've seen spurts like this out of this third line time and time again where all of a sudden they look amazing and we say, why the hell was Robertson in the press box? Where has Domi been all this season? You just needed these guys together. And then it starts to fall off, and we go back to the other narrative where it's like, maybe Robertson shouldn't play. Is Domi good enough to be your 3C? Yada, yada, yada. But right now, where we're at, this is a pretty good combination. This is a pretty good third line that you've got going here. So keeping those guys together just it seems to make sense right now. Down to your fourth line, this is where we see some of the change happen. David Kampf on Daily Faceoff here at least projected to make his way back into the lineup tonight as the fourth line center. Steven Lorenz stays in, gets the big goal against the Avalanche last night. There's just no surprise that he's going to stay in here. There's no reason to take him out anyways. Scott Laughton moves over to the fourth line right wing position. You want to talk about a guy moving all the way around the lineup, whether he's playing on second line left wing, third line center, fourth line center, now fourth line right wing. We haven't seen him on the right wing here yet, so this will be the first time that we get that. But Scott Laughton continuing to move around this lineup tonight, slotted to go in on the fourth line right wing. I'm not entirely sure what I make of this. David Kampf kind of, to me, is just like a replacement level guy. It's kind of funny to also look and be like, Calle Jarnkrok was on your top six, second line left wing, and tonight, healthy scratch for David Kampf. I'm looking around and seeing who's going in and out. Obviously, they're trying to make some changes, find the right lineup, and also not keep guys out of the lineup for too long as you do get to the playoffs here. And you try to find what's going to be like the right combination of players. But, I mean, David Kampf, I don't think he's a guy that I'm yelling and screaming needs to go back into the lineup. As for your defensive pairings tonight, Morgan Rielly, Brendan Carlo remain together. Jake McCabe, Chris Tanev as your second pair. Simone Benoit, Oliver Ekman-Larsson as your third. I can't say too much here about McCabe and Tanev and Benoit and Ekman Larson that I haven't already said. So I'll just go to Morgan Riley and Brandon Carlo and just give some brief thoughts on these guys here. Brandon Carlo has just continued to look better and better and better in the minutes that he's playing. He looks good on the penalty kill. He's great net front at boxing out, blocking shots. Like, this is a guy who's very responsible in the defensive zone. He's not going to or hasn't so far blown people up and just eviscerated guys like we've seen Labushkin do, where he would take the crazy runs at guys. But he's pretty strong when it comes to physical battles. He wins a lot of puck battles in corners, in the net front. He's also pretty good with his gap and taking time and space away and kind of just using his body and physicality to separate guys from the puck, which has been pretty good alongside Morgan Riley, who just needs stability. Like, that's the kind of thing that he's looking for. So the two of them partnered up. It seems to kind of have helped out Morgan Riley a little bit here. I still want a lot more from him, but Brandon Carlo is giving all that I could have asked for and more here through the last couple of games since what was a little bit of a rocky start for him, jumping in on Saturday against the Avalanche and then following it up into the Monday game against Utah. So those are your forward lines and your D pairs. Just quickly here, power plays and penalty kills not changing. We're going to see the 5-man or 5-forward unit that's going to stick together on the first unit. Then you're going to keep Bobby McMahon, Max Domi, and Nick Robertson together on the second unit with OEL and Morgan Riley. So those are your power play and penalty kills. We did see Joseph Woll last night against Colorado. I mean, as far as what you could have asked for the guy to do, we had basically a goaltending clinic go on from either side. And when we look at how many times you've been goalied and you look at Mackenzie Blackwood and the performance that he put up, if that's Ilya Samsonov on the other side, you're probably getting your teeth kicked in. Producer Vic asked for it over and over and over again. I want to see Joseph Woll in the game again on Wednesday. I want him to get another go. And he was unreal. I mean, he stepped up massive, faced 39 shots, makes 38 saves to help them get to a 2-1 win. It's a tight game, a defensive game. It's hard to score. You give up that many shots. Goaltenders in the past, they're probably giving up a weak one. They're probably giving one up at a bad time in the game. Instead, Joseph Woll was making amazing saves. Now, that said, Anthony Stolar is going to get an opportunity to follow that up here tonight against the Rangers in Madison Square Garden. I mean, on the back-to-back, the second night, Joseph Woll already played Monday and Wednesday. It just makes sense to give Stolarz the net. I expect him to compete here tonight. And you're watching Joseph Woll slowly take over the net and slowly take that from you. It would just only make sense that Anthony Stolarz shows up. That's kind of what he's done all season here. Let's get to our best bet segment. Breaking news coming in from Bet365, where every nail-biting overtime win is a barn burner. Every face-off, hat trick, power play, shot on goal, penalty shot, and every suspenseful minute in between is amazing. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365, an official partner of the NHL. Download the Bet365 app and use the code NATION, NATION, to get in on the game. Must be 19 or older. Please play responsibly. So last night we end up losing the Max Domi anytime goal plus 450 there. We bet $20 on that one. It was a fifth of a unit on Max Domi anytime goal to profit us 95 on the night last night. We're taking a bit of a swing on a guy who's bigger plus money, but give it a shot. Thought the third line was playing well. I thought that he played pretty well last night, but not deserving of a goal, not deserving of us getting a winning bet. That brings us to 6.88 units, $688 of profit that we are up on the season. Let's close out strong here tonight. I'm going to keep it simple. William Nylander, anytime goal, plus 200. We're going to go a full unit on this one. $100 profits you $200. Look, Willie's been showing up. I think he's looked really good over the last little while. He's ramping up for the playoffs here now. Kind of seemed to take some of the criticism that the team was getting as a whole about the core at it again, the core disappearing again. Even in those games, we saw Willie. He was kind of the one guy who was making things happen. He looked dangerous at times. So it's Willie that I'm going back to here again tonight against the Rangers. Big stage, bright lights, whatever it may be. Willie seems to be the guy who steps up every time. So that's going to be our best bet. $100 profits us $200 here tonight for William Nylander anytime goal. That's it for the game preview. Sorry for the minimalistic screens and not much going on elsewhere. Usually you've got the lines on screen and the bets and all that kind of stuff. Today was a little bit more simple. I think on Saturday we'll probably go back to the normal setup, but kind of had to get here late and figure this thing out last minute. So this is what you've got for today. If you did enjoy it, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe here to the channel, turn on notifications. We'll be live following tonight's game at Love and Exile Wine Bar. Carter Hutton's bar. We'll be with producer Vic. Probably try to get him on camera. We'll be with Nick, Rosie, potentially Hutz here tonight as well. So we'll see who stops by for tonight's post-game show. Make sure to turn on notifications so you don't miss it. We'll see you guys then. Until then, keep believing.